So I've got a div over here to which I've given a background color of gray with shade of 200, and within this I've got these 7 divs. I have given them a darker shade of gray as a background color. Text is also gray with a shade of 700, and I've used this text center property to center align the text, and then I've given some padding and margin. And if I check the browser, this is how it appears. Now all these divs are stacked on top of each other because that is how the divs work. But what if I want to position these divs horizontally? Well, Tailwind CSS makes it very easy. We can use the class flex. And now if I reload it, all these divs are stacked horizontally. And what's more, if I give them a class of justify center, they will be center aligned. And if I give them a class of justify between, they will have same amount of space between each other. However, the first and the seventh div, they are at the extreme end. If we want to fix, instead of using justify between, we can use justify around. And if I reload it, we see that first and the seventh div also have some left and the right padding. So this is how easy it is to use flex in Tailwind CSS. Well, so far we have used flex to display a single row, but we can also use flex to display a grid. So let's see how we can do that. First of all, we'll create a div, and this will be our container. I'm going to give it a background blue border, give it a border of 1 pixel, and I'm going to give it a margin of auto and padding of 4. Now this padding of 4 is very important, as we will soon see. This is our main container, and within this I'll create another div, and I'll give it a class of flex as well as flex wrap, and then we need to give it a negative margin, and this negative margin should be equal to the padding that we have given. Well, we're giving it a negative margin, otherwise it will create a horizontal scroll on certain screens, and that won't look good. Now within this we can create our divs. So I'm going to give it a background gray of 300, text gray of 700. I'm going to give them border, and I'm going to make text center aligned. Now I want 3 columns in one row, so I'm going to give it a width of 1 by 3, and we will also give it a padding of px4. So this would be box 1, and same way we're going to have few other boxes as well. And now if we check our browser, we have this grid system. Another thing that I wanted to show you over here is I'm going to give it a height of 64, and over here to all this I will give a height of 10. And now if I reload it, this dark blue is the background color of our main div. We see that our main div starts from here and it ends over here, but there's a gap at the below, but there is no gap at the top. So we can fix this using the class items center. And now if I reload it, we see that we have same gap at the top and the bottom. I can also give it class of justify center, although it won't make much of a sense over here, but this will also make sure that all the divs are aligned horizontally as well. And as we see that box 7 is now aligned centrally. So this is how we can work with flex using the Tailwind CSS. In our next video, we will see how we can use grid system using the Tailwind CSS classes.